Bible is filled with stories of people who dared to dream. From the Israelites daring to dream of a promised land, the disciples daring to dream of a world where Christ was known in every corner, or Paul daring to dream of faithfulness in the mighty city of Rome. From this we have examples that at times it takes bold, even audacious dreams for God's will to be done. Trinity has a history of doing daring things. In 1993, we built a beautiful new sanctuary with plans to use the seating from the old sanctuary until we could afford new pews. But the county told us halfway through the project that a space that size would require fixed seating to meet the code. Even in the shadow of an ongoing capital campaign at the time, with amazing generosity, Trinity responded with $80,000 in pledges to fund the pews with no additional debt. Then, just last year, one of our buses was totaled in a traffic accident. Without a bus, our community school program would suffer. The council borrowed from the emergency fund to keep this ministry functioning. When we went to the congregation, asking them to help us repay the emergency fund, we raised over $38,000 in 8 weeks. There is no doubt that our congregation is alive, vibrant, and wonderful to belong to. But are we daring to dream today? Or are we just getting by?
I first came to Trinity last August or last September, just recently, and I can remember just my very first few visits. You could tell that the congregation just really, really feels alive here, and you can tell from the get-go. But at the same time, on those same visits, you could notice the contrast that outside of the sanctuary, the building looks just tired and looked worn. The building itself just didn't match the same energy and sort of the same life that the congregation had when I was here. I was on staff part-time at the last church I belonged to, and in that time we hired 2 new staff members and 1 new pastor. And from what I learned in the process of doing that, if I can be frank, our salaries here are low. For the amount of time some of these folks have been here, for how good a job they do, for the size of the church, the salaries are low.
Well, there's only so much we can do with the budget. If we don't dare to dream bigger, what we're going to end up doing is we're going to be holding ourselves back. Mission teams are going to be held back. The growth of this church actually will be held back, in my opinion. And if we don't dare to dream, then we don't pay down the mortgage. We don't have $96,000 available for programs within this church, available for, a reserve every single year. So I look to dare to dream.
Soon, Trinity is going to dare to dream, and dream big again. We're going to dare to dream of adding a much-needed part-time music director to help Rick Kilgore manage and expand this huge ministry. We're going to dare to dream of better supporting our staff financially and making Trinity a destination place to work. We're going to dare to dream of substantially expanding funding to our ministry teams. We're going to dare to dream of taking care of overdue renovations to the church facility. We're going to dare to dream of having an emergency fund for unexpected repairs. And we're daring to dream of freeing up $100,000 in mortgage payments every year by being debt-free. Trinity needs 3 things from its members to make this dream a reality. We're asking you to think and pray about which of these things you can offer in this dream. First, we need prayers. Prayers for the success of the dream, prayers for guidance, and prayers for perseverance. Second, we need help to raise the annual operating budget by $70,000, which would require each member to increase their pledge for 2012 and beyond by 1% of their household income. Third, we need help to raise enough money to pay off the mortgage in the next 3 years, which would require a substantial financial commitment beyond the yearly pledge.
Well, what am I excited about in this campaign? So much. I guess one of the greatest excitements I have about this campaign is not just what it's going to do for Trinity, but what it's going to really do for the world. Trinity, as a congregation, pledges 10% of our budget to the greater work of the church, to the Synod and the world. So if we can make that $70,000 increase, that 1% of each of our salaries committed to a tithe from this congregation to the greater church, that means we're going to be able to bring the gospel to places in the world that you and I will never visit. It means that we're going to be able to help start new churches. It means that we're going to help the Synod in all of its ministries, its seminaries, its colleges, all because we're going to do something for us. We're going to end up blessing someone else. I am absolutely thrilled that this campaign is not just about the things we need at Trinity, although there are many, and the campaign will address them. But it has a bigger dream even than that, and I'm excited about that.
You know, the Dare to Dream campaign is an exciting time for us. In one of our songs in our 11 o'clock service, we talk about the church is not a building, and that's what Dare to Dream is about. It's not about building bricks and mortar, but it's about transforming lives. That as we look at the ways in which we can do ministry together, living as God's disciples, Dare to Dreams allows us to grow the body of Christ, which becomes the church in the world. So let's dare to dream. Let's dare to see how God may change lives, and through the ministries we do here, make disciples.
Deciding your level of sacrifice, commitment, and involvement in this campaign will require careful discernment and prayer on your behalf. By no means is it a decision we expect anyone to make right now. But just to get you started, just to get you thinking, we'd like to ask a few questions. Would you like for Trinity's sanctuary, building, and grounds to match the energy level of its worshiping community? Would you like for Trinity to be a destination workplace? Would you like to be able to substantially expand our ministry teams in the near future? Would you like to see long overdue renovations to the building and grounds addressed? Would you like to see Trinity have an emergency fund in place to address unexpected repairs? Would you like to be a part of a debt-free congregation? 3 years from now, would you dare of having $100,000 or more in the operating budget with no additional giving? Look around, Trinity. Do we dare? Dare to thank God for the blessings you receive from Trinity? Dare to pray about how you can contribute to this dream? Do we dare to sacrifice now to make our dreams come true later? Do we dare to commit generously? Do we dare to dream?